Here we go again. This is part 5. It's about Ron Paul's voting record on government reform. I have to be careful here because if I'm not, this video can turn into an hour-long conversation about Ron Paul and his government reform ideas. So I'm going to skip a lot of subjects about Ron Paul and government reform and just try to concentrate on some of the more important ideas that Ron Paul has. In 2008, he wrote in a book that the living Constitution is the death of democracy.
Of course the Constitution is a living document. Ever since it was first written, it has been changed many times throughout our history.
If the Constitution is not a living document, then we wouldn't have amendments to the Constitution, amendments like the 14th Amendment, providing the Equal Protection Clause and the Due Process Clause. That was not included in the original Constitution. Considering how many times the Constitution has been changed, you can come to no other conclusion than the Constitution is a living document. Ron Paul is dead wrong about that.
And then, of course, he has a little bit of a flip-flop going on when it comes to earmarks. In 2007, he put 65 projects worth $4 billion into various bills benefiting just his district alone. Then, in 2007, December, he voted no on all earmarks, even those he proposed for his own district. Needless to say, even though he voted against earmarks, the bills passed anyway with his $4 billion attached. He took the money, went back to his district, and used it as a campaign prop to help re-elect himself, bragging how he brought money back home. When asked about the inconsistency of voting against all earmarks, but accepting $4 billion for his district in earmarks, this is what he said.
The government stole that money from my constituents back in Texas. Why shouldn't I give the money back to them? They deserve it.
Have you ever heard anyone give an excuse like that? I'm telling you, that dog doesn't bark. I guess that dog does bark. I mean, those libertarians will believe anything, won't they? 2007 was a banner year for Ron Paul. In 2007, he wanted to disallow lawsuits, that is, have Congress pass a law that prohibits lawsuits that stop public officials invoking God.
What did you say? Are you telling me Ron Paul wants to pass a law keeping anybody from filing a lawsuit against a public official if they want to invoke God during a public ceremony?
I guess he doesn't believe in separation of church and state. Oh, no. He doesn't believe in separation of church and state at all. Where do you see some of his other religious views and how they apply to our Constitution?
That's really good. So Ron Paul wants to ram God down everybody's throat, whether they want to hear it or not. I wonder what part of the Constitution he's looking at that says that's okay.
Well, if Ron Paul had it his way, he would completely turn the Constitution upside down with regards to separation of church and state. We'll see more of that in a video later on. Right now, we want to talk about campaign finance reform. Damn dog.
Going back to 1999, Ron Paul has been in favor of large political contributions to our elected officials by wealthy individuals and big corporations in America.
In 1999, he voted no on banning soft money and issue ads. In the year 2000, he wanted unlimited campaign contributions with full disclosure.
In February of 2002, he voted no on campaign finance reform banning soft money contributions.
And then in 2007, he voted no on requiring lobbyist disclosure of bundled donations.
Regarding campaign finance reform, everybody agrees. Having all this money being poured into these campaigns and influencing our politicians is not good for this country. A recent Supreme Court decision allowing unlimited contributions by corporations, wealthy individuals, and unions has a name. Do you know what the name of that form of government is? Are you too proud to admit it? The type of government where politicians are influenced by wealthy individuals and corporations has a definition in the dictionary. It's called fascism. Is it fair to say that Ron Paul, considering his positions on government reform and campaign finance reform, is unwittingly supporting fascism in America? If you are a Ron Paul supporter, you're going to scream bloody murder and say, no, no, Ron Paul is not a fascist. But if you're any other kind of an American, you may want to give pause and think hard, very hard about Ron Paul. All right already, that concludes part 5 regarding Ron Paul's record on campaign finance reform and on government reform. The next video is going to be about Ron Paul's record on education. If you are a Ron Paul supporter, you're going to scream bloody murder about part number 6. But if you're against Ron Paul, you'll love it.